Hello everyone, my name is Rob Mottram. I'm from Social Telecoms and we're a telecoms, data and digital inclusion provider to the UK social housing sector. We're a number one ranked supplier to the PFH Telecoms framework since 2013 and today we're here with 8x8. And don't worry about death by PowerPoint, as what you're about to see is a full-blown demonstration of several of 8x8 services crammed into just over 30 minutes. To summarise who 8x8 are, they're an enterprise-grade, truly global software as a service organisation who are defined as cloud-born organisation. This means they have not had to worry about revolutionising themselves from on-premises, big old boxes of metal with flashing lights in your comms room that occasionally break down and need maintaining. 8x8 have always been in the cloud and are mature cloud organisations with over 25 years in the space. Our friends at 8x8 have lent to Spencer and Philippe to help show the aspects of their service, starting off with 8x8 Work, which is the desktop, mobile and soft phone interface used by all of your non-contact centre staff. Spencer will then continue with MS Teams integration, moving on to contact centre demos, as Philippe is here with the new CPaaS, Cloud Platform as a Service, which includes video interaction between your staff and residents. Over to Spencer.
Hi, this is Spencer Wood, Sales Engineer at 8x8. As part of this video demonstration, I'm just going to take you through some of the functionality available from on the left-hand side of the screen here, our desktop application, and then on the right-hand side of the screen here, I've got our mobile application open as well. So when we start off, we're in the voice side of the application. We give you a list of your call history here. We can filter this out on our missed calls. And if I highlight one of these users, as you can see, I can place a call to these users. I can also select to send an instant messaging through to this user as well. Because they're an internal user, I also get an availability of their presence shown to me here. When we move into the voicemail, it's a visual voicemail application. So it lists all of our voicemails in order they were received. I can choose to play them back from here. I can also call this user back as well. And when I select one of these voicemails, I get the play controls available to me here, but then I get a transcription of that voicemail. So the user doesn't even have to come in here and listen to that voicemail. They can read the transcription and choose to action that message as they need to. Just moving on to the mobile application over here, just to show you that we fully replicate into that mobile application, I'll highlight the voicemails. And as you can see, I get the same play controls available to me on the mobile, and I also get that transcription available here as well. Moving down on the desktop application into the contacts area. So there's 3 areas for contacts. You get favorites. So users can select favorites and they're commonly contacted people. They can add them into the favorites area of the application. Company contacts are formed from any 8x8 user on the platform. So this is where a full company directory is available. And again, we can search and we can filter this if we need to as well. The My Contacts area is where we can integrate into Google directory services, Microsoft Outlook, and then it will synchronize any contacts, both personal and corporate, into the 8x8 application. And as we can see here, I've synchronized to Google, and I can see that this is where this contact has been populated from. We can also manually add any contacts if we need to by clicking the blue icon down here and selecting Add New Contact. We can manually add anyone in with them we need to. Instant messaging. So with the instant messaging, we offer one-to-one, user-to-user instant messaging capabilities. And then you also get the ability to create messaging rooms. So multiple users can be part of these rooms. They can share and collaborate on documents, and they can also be made public, or they can be made private, so they're not searchable via the corporate directory. You have to be manually added into a private room to see any of the content in there. Moving down to the video meetings capability. So I've clicked on there. What I've done as well is I've synchronized this into the calendar, the Google Calendar for this user, but we can also do that with Microsoft Outlook again. And once we do that, it synchronizes my calendar entries into the 8x8 application. If there's an 8x8 meeting associated with one of these entries, as you can see, I get a single click to join functionality here. And also at the bottom of the screen, this is where the user's personal meeting space is. So from here, your users can host and participate in up to 100 active users in any of these meetings. So to start that functionality, we click the Start Meeting icon. The application then loads us into a video meeting. Just to highlight, on the mobile application, we get the same level of functionality on the meeting side of things. So we're synchronized. I'm seeing all of my meeting entries in here. And again, I can click Start Meeting and join a meeting from here.
So over the next 4 minutes or so, Spencer and I are going to give you a brief overview on the Microsoft Teams integration 8x8 Voice for Teams. The integration is a cloud-to-cloud solution that integrates a direct routing layer. The benefit of this to organizations is you're not having to deploy and manage your own session border controls in your infrastructure. This provides the complete underlying communication layer of services into Microsoft Teams. It's further enhanced with a cloud bulk sync process and really minimizes the administration in the initial deployment and the day-to-day management of the application. On the left-hand side of the screen here, what you're seeing is what we call back office users, and they're using the service for the Teams desktop and mobile clients with X1 to X4 licenses. On the right-hand side, we have our contact center agents using the service for our Teams certified contact center. 8x8 Voice for Teams is an enterprise-grade cloud telephony solution to complement Microsoft Teams environments. We are not displacing Microsoft Teams. Voice for Teams delivers an enterprise-class PSTN voice service and is easy to administer. It keeps Microsoft Teams as a user experience, and that remains unchanged for end users, as whether they're knowledge workers, as we see on the left here, or cloud contact agents on the right. This means Teams users get a superior voice experience from a native application. They have access to global calling plans with local numbers, all delivered by the 8x8 voice network.
So let's log into the Microsoft applications and see what this looks like from a user aspect. So what we've got on the screen now is on the left-hand side of the screen, we've got the Microsoft Teams mobile client, and then we've got the Microsoft Teams desktop client. And I'm just going to place a call into here, and we'll see how this looks and reacts when we place that call. So after a second or two, we can see the call is presented to the desktop, and then a second or two later, it's presented into the mobile client as well. I'm going to answer this one on the desktop client, so I accept the call there. The Microsoft Teams window loads up, and I get access to all of those familiar functionality that you'll have access to as part of Microsoft Teams. Okay, I can click on the three dots here. I can control my device settings, such as my sound devices, as well as placing the call on hold. I can transfer it if I need to, as well as consult and then transfer the call.
So now on to Contact Center. 8x8 Contact Center is a cloud-based contact center as a service. The cloud-based contact center enables you to operate a remote and agile contact center with full omni-channel routing, allowing you to deploy a digital channel strategy and enable your customers to contact you on their channel of choice. All of those omni-channel routing capabilities are delivered into a browser-based consolidated agent interface. And this is fully supplemented by a full range of analytics available from the contact center. These include customer experience analytics, as well as post-call survey functionality. We have a full historical reporting capabilities. Real-time dashboards, which are all browser-based, allowing you to manage the contact center regardless of your location. And this is fully enhanced by 8x8 speech analytics and quality management package. Over to Spencer.
When the agent first logs in, they're in an on-break status, and using the status control buttons here, they can control their availability within the contact center. Once the agent becomes available, we can see that the interface is broken into two key work areas. On the left-hand side here is the agent control panel, and on the right-hand side is the display area. As part of the control panel, as we've already seen, the agent can control their status inside the contact center. And as well as part of the 8x8 omni-channel contact center, this is where any inbound interactions will be presented to the agent, such as inbound as well as outbound voice calls, chat functionality, such as web chat as part of your website, SMS interactions, as well as social media such as Twitter direct messaging and Facebook direct messaging, as well as email. On the right hand side, we have the display area, and what we're seeing here is recently worked cases by this agent. And now these form part of the 8x8 local CRM, which is a fully operational and transactional database of interactions with your customers. Also, as part of this display area, we have the 8x8 directory. The directory can contain both internal and external contacts. And when you're using 8x8 in the back office and 8x8 in the contact center, this forms what we call our Expert Connect feature. And it really helps break down the barriers between the back office and contact center agents and bridges that gap between the agents and subject matter experts that may sit outside of the contact center. This will allow you to greatly increase your first call resolution. The agent interface also delivers a set of supervisor features when enabled. When they are enabled, the monitoring tab is displayed as we can see here. From here, the supervisor can manage any queues in real time for the last 30 minutes or from the beginning of the day. Underneath the agent management tab, the supervisor can choose a user within their assigned team, and when they select that user, they can start monitoring. And once they're monitoring and that agent is active in a call, the supervisor can join the call or start an agent whisper session from there. This is also further enhanced by the 8x8 Live Agent View. As we can see here, this is a fully web-based application, and it allows supervisors to listen in calls in progress as well as get a live view of the agent's screen. From the functionality we can see here, again, I get that very similar functionality that we saw previously. I can choose to barge, I can whisper, or I can end this monitoring session, as well as choosing to record the screen.
So now in this video, Spencer is going to give an overview of 8x8's Secure Pay feature.
This allows contact center agents to process card payments by telephone in a PCI compliant manner and totally descopes the contact center for payments using this method. When a call arrives at the 8x8 contact center, it is routed from the caller into the originating carrier, and that audio is routed directly into 8x8's cloud infrastructure. What we can see here, though, that this audio will also contain any DTMF key presses that the caller would enter via their telephone keypad. If we move on to the next screen, we can see how this is built up. But when the agent wants to process a payment, the agent launches the 8x8 Secure Pay Agent Assist portal. This is what we see here, and we can see in the first instance when the portal is first launched, the chain is broken, meaning the call is not yet secure to process this payment. Also, this icon is grey and not green, which we'll see in a later slide. So when we click next on this, what happens is a series of API calls are triggered that triggers a series of SIP re-invites and asks PCI Pal to route this media through their infrastructure first, as we'll see in the next slide. So now with that call set up, what we first noticed in the Agent Assist panel is that chain is now linked. The icon has turned green here, telling the agent that this call is now secured and ready for payment processing. So the agent can now instruct the caller to enter their credit card number using the keypad on their telephone. The key things to notice from here is, again, that audio stream is routed via PCI Pal with the DTMF digits that the caller will enter via the keypad. But once that traffic is passed to 8x8, we only receive the audio. The DTMF key presses are not present in this media stream. And that's how we can totally descope the contact center via this method of payment processing. So let's process this payment. So call and screen recording never has to pause in this process. The caller can now start to enter their card details via the telephone keypad, and we can see those digits streaming into PCI Pal. 8x8 are getting redacted versions of that data. The agent will just hear random DTMF noises just as a confirmation signal. What we see in the Agent Assist window is that card data being entered, but it is fully redacted. The agent would just receive an asterisk for each of those digits. This just allows the agent to monitor the progress and the success of entering that card detail into each of these relevant fields. We can notice here that we've got a green tick against the card number. Now, if the caller had made a mistake in entering that 16-digit card number, this will actually turn amber and we'd have a cross instead of a tick there. And using the reset button here, the agent could reset that field and ask the caller to enter that detail again. The same process is used for entering the expiration of the card. And as we move on, we can see we've got a green tick against this. And we also use that same process to receive the card security number. We've got a green tick against each of these fields near here, so the agent can now click next to process this payment. The card data is sent to the payment provider. The card and transaction details are now sent to the payment gateway for processing. We get the transaction details back from the payment provider, amount, name, account number, etc. And if integrated with a CRM package, this can also be written back into there as well for future reference. Here we can see we've got a confirmation token. This is what we can write back into your CRM with some integration, so you've got reference of that if needed. Once the agent ends the session, we revert back to that originating call stream. So the data is now flowing directly through the 8x8 infrastructure, not via PCI Pal. But the key to this is we've always remained connected between the caller and the agent in this process. So let's see what that looks like in a live environment. So I've got a busy call and my agent is active on a call here in the 8x8 agent portal. And I'm using the 8x8 local CRM in this instance, but again, this could be integration into maybe Salesforce or NetSuite or the CRM that you're currently using. I've added a custom field into the 8x8 CRM that contains that link to the Agent Assist portal. So the agent's going to click on there and it's going to open up the Agent Assist portal. All of this detail can be pulled through from the CRM with integration to save the agent having to type all this information in. But what we can notice here that the call is not linked at the moment and it is not secure. Once the agent has confirmed all these details are correct, they can click on next. We get a quick warning there to say the call is not secured. Once the call is secured, we can now see the link is secured and the icon has turned green, meaning the agent is now clear to process this payment. So I can start now to ask the caller to enter their card details via their telephone keypad. So I'm going to do that. And as we can see on the screen, we get a progress and the agent does not see any of the card details. They just see an asterisk and just letting them know of the caller's progress through entering those card details. As we saw, we get a green tick because the card details are correct. We can reset that field if needed, if there's been an issue with that card data. So let's move on to the expiration date. That's valid as well. And the security code. And we've got a green tick there as well. So let's process this payment. We can now see that the payment's been accepted. We get that authorization code, again, with potential integration into your CRM package that you're using. That could be written back into this call log record as well. The agent can now finish this session and return to the caller. All the way through that process, we've been connected to the caller, so we can now continue to carry on any other business that this caller needs to address. Eight by 8 Speech Analytics is part of our overall quality management tool. This combined suite of analytics provide quick, actionable insights into the voice of your customer and also delivers laser-like focus on any key areas of interest in your contact center, whilst greatly reducing resource and wasted quality assurance cycles compared to more traditional quality assurance processes. When we log into the application, we are initially presented the Speech Center as we can see here. Here the view is split into three main areas of focus. In the center, we have our heat map or bubble view. Now, the larger the bubble, the more calls have been matched against that particular category. So let's talk for a moment on how the application functions. Every call into the contact center is recorded. Once that call recording is completed, we then transcribe that call recording file into a text-based format. And if I move over onto the left-hand side, it allows me to explain this. Here we can see we have that same customer experience category. And under the customer experience category, we have 23 topics. These are made up of agent-based topics, such as agent confrontation. And underneath that topic, we have the keyword phrases that we're looking for to match against that topic and then against the customer experience category at the higher level. If I expand the topic, we can see here some of the phrases that make up what we're searching for. So this is things your agents are saying. I already explained that. I already told you. Calm down. Really not great phrases for your agents to be mentioning in their calls with customers. So you can go and search for that, and that may provide you some coaching insight with your agents. If I just close the topic here, what we also do, so any headset icon we see relates to an agent-based topic. If I slowly scroll down, we can see here we start to get a smiley face, and this is caller topic. So this is anything that your callers are saying. So here we have caller appreciation as a topic, again, under that overall customer experience category. And if I expand this, we can see we have 32 phrases that make up this particular topic. This is things the caller is saying, such as, you went above and beyond, you've answered all of my questions. So they're really showing appreciation towards the agent. The default configuration provides 10 pre-built categories and around 50 topics based on either agent or caller utterances and 1,200 predefined phrases. You can also add your own categories, topics and phrases. As we can see here in the top right hand corner, I click on the new button and I can start to add in any topic categories or topics that I'm interested in. Underneath this, we have our discovery area. Okay, so these are words, phrases, and categories and topics that you're not currently monitoring, but the platform is saying they're matching calls to these particular words. And I can pick on one of these, say, for instance, payment here as the category. And what that will do is go and tell me the topics we suggest should make up that overall category. If we move back to the bubble view or the heat map here, I'm going to right click in here. And what I'm going to do is there's two key things to highlight here. One is we've just had under 66,000 interactions that have met this overall category. I can choose here to go to interactions and the application will now change screens. It's opened up a new tab for me at the top here. And these are some predefined and configured search tabs that I've already saved to speed this process. So these tabs can be saved, you can configure your search, and you can also share them amongst other supervisors within inside the contact center. Here, all of the calls that match this search criteria are presented to me. One of the key things to notice here, though, is in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got more than 10,000 results. So a key thing to highlight, using my pre-saved tabs and searches, I can click on here, poor customer experience, for example. And when we click on that tab, it again presents all the calls to me that match this particular search. Here, we've got calendar-based functionality, so you can configure time ranges of when you want to perform these searches for. And then we have our search categories and topics here. So I'm searching via topics on caller and speaker, okay? And these are the topics that make up this search in line with the poor customer experience. So caller is not happy with a delivery, they're not happy with price, they're not happy with the product or the service they've received. And I'm picking out on a particular agent profile here, okay? Once we click the search button, all of the calls that match this search criteria are presented to me here. So if I click on one of these, what we get from the right-hand side is we get the summary card. So here, we can also see where we're using automated sentiment analysis. So this call has been given an overall emotional rating of positive, okay? We can see that it was an outbound call and it's been fully transcribed. And as I scroll down, we'll start to move into that speech transcript area. So this is actually the text-based file of that call recording. On the right-hand side here, the hashtags are the topics that have been matched in this particular call. So if I click on any of these, it will take me to that part of the call. Caller dissatisfaction, We can see here we're picking up, I can't remember, but my order was supposed to arrive, so they're not very happy. Is it a repeat call? It is. I called earlier. And then caller appreciation, further on in the call, this shows that the caller is now happy, the agent's done a great job, and the caller is now happy, and they're expressing caller appreciation as part of that. At the bottom of the screen, we can show the call recording timeline. There's several key features that I want to highlight here. So the call is broken out. Here we can see agent speaker 1 is my agent that handled the call, and then our caller is on the bottom line here. Okay, so we can see here the agents opened up the call with their greeting, and straight away, using that automated sentiment analysis, the caller is displaying mostly negative emotion. What we can do as part of this as well, we can use the go to event search, and I can go into this call and I can search for any emotional events. Positive, mostly positive, negative, mostly negative. I can see when the call was muted or unmuted, and search against particular notes or topics. Whilst we're on the subject of notes, let's look at the call recording timeline. We can see someone else has reviewed this call and they have left a note in that call recording. To do so, we can click anywhere in that call recording timeline. You can see that I've got a yellow bar to denote where I am inside that call recording timeline. But here we've had our note field open up. So I can simply type a note here for further review. To further enhance this though, and build a collaborative contact center, I can use app mentions. So if I app mention a particular agent, you can see here it selected the agent from within inside the contact center. I can select their username, and I can add some notes again here. But to make this a more collaborative process, when I save that note, that will actually send an email notification to that agent. They receive a link to this particular call in that email, and they can come back and review and compare against my notes on that call. Another key thing to take away from this is using these predefined searches, and as we said at the beginning of the video, is how we can provide you that laser-like focus. So we saw that 66,000 calls made up the overall customer experience category. And then when we drilled in that and we came into the interaction page, we could see that over 10,000 calls have been matched. If we now look using these predefined and configurable searches, I've actually narrowed that down to 92 results. So that's how we provide you that laser-like focus and really drilling into any key areas of focus. And you can imagine the resource savings you could realize, and obviously those wasted cycles in the more traditional quality assurance processes.
So that's time to hand over to Philippe for the final demonstration. Using live video interaction, 8x8 can provide either an API connection or an online portal to manage video interactions between your agents and residents when discussing repairs, maintenance, or other issues that need remedying. If an agent can interact with a tenant via their own mobile, photograph the problem, timestamp it, and automatically load it into the repairs portal, then you can dramatically reduce the time booking in repairs and can also rule out visits to properties altogether. Over to Philippe.
Hi and welcome. My name is Philippe and I'm about to walk you through the 8x8 video interaction platform. In particular, today I'm going to tell you how this solution can replace a physical appointment of a field agent by a video consultation. At the landing page, you'll see that you have a button saying Start a Call. You'll click there, you're at the number of your client, and you send the invite. It can take a few seconds before the SMS is sent and received by the client. Once he receives the message, all he has to do is to click on the link that comes with the message. He will be then redirected to a web browser where the call will take place. No download was made so far. Once the client is ready, you can click on Connect with the agent. You will then see that automatically the agent will be pulled into the call. the agent video coming from his camera will start automatically. If you don't want that, you can just simply click on the button below the camera and the picture is gone. So once you start seeing your client's image, you just need to tell him to point his phone to what he wants to show. So in my case, I'm pointing my phone to my heater. If you need to take a picture, a screenshot, and make some annotations there, you only have to click on the camera button in the picture. Depending on the smartphone being used and the bandwidth available, this process can take up to a few seconds. Once you both have the same image in your screen, you may start adding some notes, live notes, to the picture and screenshot. You'll also notice that the screenshot now has a timestamp. All the annotations you're pointing down live to the video will also appear in real time to your client's image. Once all the annotations are done, you can just click on Send File, and both will have the picture stored into their local storage. Other things can be performed, like the remote force of switching the camera. If you click in this button over here, you'll notice that the client's camera will change automatically. You can also switch off your client's camera entirely by clicking here. Last but not least, if you need your client's location for some reason, you can also click on Fetch Location. And the location of your client, it's now collected. Once the call is done, you only need to click on End Call. Both will be redirected to a very quick form to perform and evaluate quality.
In the dashboard, you may go to the logs, and in there, you will see all the information that occurred during the call.